Hello, this is Ross Bliley from the podcast Pigskin Tales. This podcast is sponsored by Sterling Soap Company. With products sold throughout 41 locations around the globe, Sterling Soap Company has a unique assortment of products to choose from for your loved one for the holidays. Handmade artisan soaps created by Roderick and Amanda Lovin since 2012, these products are affordable and provide great value. Act now and save on your shipping costs. If you purchase $75 or more, your shipping cost is free in the United States. Shop now online at sterlingsoap.com.
This podcast is part of the Sports History Network, your headquarters for the yesteryear of your favorite sport. You can learn more at sportshistorynetwork.com.
Hello, sports fans, and welcome to another edition of Yesterday's Sports on the Sports History Network. Today we're going to have part 3 of the Philadelphia Phillies covering the years from 1976 to 1980. Last week we left off in part 2. The Phillies were about to play in their first World Series since 1950. And the Phillies' opponent would be the Kansas City Royals. Two teams had a lot in common. The Royals, like the Phillies, had struggled to reach the World Series, losing the American League Championship Series 3 years in a row to the Yankees, before finally beating them in 1980. Rookie pitcher Bob Walk would start for the Phillies, and he struggled early, allowing a 2-run homer in the second inning and another in the third. If there was any doubt about how much the Phillies had left after their tough series with the Astros, they erased all uncertainty in the bottom of the third inning, scoring 5 runs off Royals pitcher Dennis Leonard. 3 of those runs came from a 3-run homer by Bake McBride. Philadelphia added a run in the bottom of the 4th and another in the 5th to take a 7-4 lead. Pitcher Bob Walk, who had struggled earlier in the game, kept the Royals from scoring in innings 4 through 7. However, the Royals' Willie Aikens hit his second 2-run home run off Walk in the top of the 8th inning, narrowing the score to 7-6. Closer Tug McGraw then entered the game and ensured Kansas City wouldn't score any more runs, sealing the 7-6 victory for Philadelphia. After 4.5 scoreless innings, the Phillies drew first blood in the bottom of the 5th inning of Game 2, scoring 2 runs. The Royals got their first run due to an error in the 6th inning. Steve Carlton pitched 6 complete innings without allowing an earned run, but the Royals finally broke through in the 7th, scoring 3 runs to take a 4-2 lead. However, the never-say-die Phillies fought back in the 8th, scoring 4 runs. Ron Reed replaced Carlton in the 9th inning to shut down the Royals. The Phillies won 6-4 to take a 2-0 lead in the series. American League MVP George Brett put the Royals on the scoreboard first in Game 3 with a solo home run in the first inning. The Phillies tied it in the second. Kansas City regained the lead in the bottom of the 4th, only for Mike Schmidt to equalize with a home run in the 5th. Amos Otis put the Royals back on top with a solo shot in the 7th. But Pete Rose tied the game once more in the 8th with an RBI single. In yet another extra inning game, the Royals scored the winning run in the bottom of the 10th. The Royals came out swinging in Game 4, sending starting pitcher Larry Christensen to the showers after scoring 4 runs in the first inning. Willie Aikens hit his 3rd home run of the series. The Phillies scored a run in the second inning, but gave it right back when Aikens hit another home run. The Royals were held scoreless for the rest of the game, but those 5 runs were enough for a 5-3 victory. After 3 scoreless innings in Game 5, Mike Schmidt hit a 2-run home run to give Philadelphia the lead. The Royals narrowed the gap to 2-1 in the 5th inning. After an Amos Otis home run tied the game in the 6th, the Royals scored another run on a sacrifice fly RBI by U.L. Washington. The Phillies added 2 runs in the top of the 9th to take a 4-3 lead. Kansas City had the bases loaded in the bottom of the 9th with 2 outs, but Tug McGraw struck out the final batter, giving the Phillies a 3-2 lead in the series. With Game 6 at Veterans Stadium and Steve Carlton on the mound, the Phillies aimed to clinch the series. Philadelphia held a 4-0 lead after 7 complete innings, and Phillies fans could hardly contain their excitement. But the Royals silenced the crowd by loading the bases in the top of the 8th inning. Closer Tug McGraw, however, allowed only 1 run, leaving the Phillies 3 outs away from winning their first World Series in team history. The Phillies went down in order in the bottom of the 8th, but the Royals would not back down easily, loading the bases again in the top of the 9th with only 1 out. The next batter fouled out, leaving the Phillies 1 out away from what some believe might never occur. McGraw struck out the following batter, and the long-awaited World Series trophy finally belonged to the city of brotherly love. Mike Schmidt earned the World Series MVP award. It was a good time to be a sports fan in Philadelphia. In May of 1980, the 76ers reached the NBA Finals. The Flyers reached the Stanley Cup Finals. And the Eagles reached the Super Bowl in January of 1981. All 3 of those teams lost, but the fact that all 4 of the Philadelphia sports teams made it to the finals during those 8 months, with 1 winning, is quite impressive. In 1983, the Phillies secured their 4th National League pennant, but lost to the Baltimore Orioles in the World Series. Since then, they have captured 4 more pennants and another World Series title in 2008. That will conclude our podcast for today and our look back at some Philadelphia Phillies team history. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you, and God bless.
This podcast is part of the Sports History Network, your headquarters for the yesteryear of your favorite sport. You can learn more at sportshistorynetwork.com. The heel gets the heat. The babyface gets the cheers. But the jobber gets, well, the job done. And speaking of jobbers, Barry Horowitz wasn't there to win titles. He was there to build them. By selling every move, every storyline, and every new star that stepped into the ring. He was the secret sauce. And now, he's the headline in his new book titled, Wrestling is My Gimmick, My Life on the Wrong Side of the 3 Count. This memoir is a deep dive into wrestling's most underrated position, and the man who made it an art form. Whether you're a fan of wrestling, a fan of sports history, or just love a great story, this book is for you. Again, that's Wrestling is My Gimmick by Barry Horowitz. Grab your copy today before the count strikes 3.